The master is right, he says, there is no mind, so there cannot be any state of mind. What nonsense you are talking. But the nonsense has its own logic. If you think that you have a mind, you will start of thinking in terms of states. Ignorant state of the mind, enlightened state of the mind, disturbed state of the mind, silent state of the mind. Once you accept mind, the illusory, then you are bound to go on dividing it. And once you accept the mind is there, you will start seeking something or other. Mind can exist only if you continuously seek something. Why? Because seeking is desire. Seeking is moving into the future. Seeking creates dream. So somebody is seeking power, politics. Somebody is seeking riches, kingdoms. And then somebody is seeking the truth. But the seeking is there. And seeking is the problem, not what you are seeking. The object is never the problem. Any object will do. Mind can hang with any object. Any excuse is enough for it to exist. The master says there is no state of mind because there is no mind. And there is no truth. So what you are talking? There can be no seeking. This is one of the greatest messages ever delivered. Very difficult. You cannot conceive that there is no truth. What is the meaning of this master, that there is no truth? Does he mean that there is no truth? No. He is saying that for you, who is a seeker, there can be no truth. Seeking always leads into the untrue. Only a non-seeking mind realizes that which is. Because whenever you seek, you have missed that which is. Seeking always moves into the future. Seeking cannot be here and now. How can you seek here and now? You can only be. Seeking is desire. Future enters, time comes in. And this moment, this here now is missed. And truth is here now. So if you go to a Buddha and ask, is there God? He will deny immediately there is no God. Because if he says there is, he creates a seeker. If he says there is God, you will start seeking. How can you remain quiet when there is God to be sought? Then you will run. You have created another illusion. So Buddha says there is no God. Nobody understood him. People thought he is an atheist. He was not denying God. He was simply denying the seeker. But if he says there is God, the seeker is there. And seeker is the world. Seeking is all that Maya is. For millions of lives you have been a seeker after this or that, this object, that object, of this world or that world, but a seeker. No, you are a seeker after truth. The master says there is no truth. He cuts the very ground of seeking. He pulls away the very ground where you are standing, where your mind is standing. He simply pushes you into the abyss. inquirer says, then why these so many seekers are around you? If there is nothing to seek and there is no truth, then why this crowd? You must have been there, sitting around the Master. If somebody comes to me and I say, there is no seeking, nothing is to be sought because there is nothing to seek. He is bound to ask, then why are these people here? Why are these sannyasis here? What they are doing here? But the inquirer goes on missing the point. The Master looked around and says, I don't see anyone. There is no one here. The inquirer goes on missing the point because the intellect always goes on missing. He could have looked. This was the fact. There was no one. You can be in two ways. One, if you are seeking. If you are not seeking, you are not. Because seeking gives you the ego. Right this moment, if you are not seeking anyone, anything, you are not here. There is no crowd. If I am not teaching anything, because there is nothing to be taught. There is no truth to be taught. If I am not teaching anything, if you are not learning anything, who is here? Emptiness exists. And the bliss of pure emptiness. Individuals disappear. It becomes an oceanic consciousness. Individuals are there because individual minds. You have a different desire. That's why you differ from the neighbor. Desires create distinction. I am seeking something else, you are seeking something else. My path differs from yours, my goal differs from yours. That's why I differ from you. If I am not seeking, you are not seeking, goals disappear, paths are no more there, how the minds can exist? The cup is broken. And my tea flows into you and your tea flows into me. It becomes an oceanic existence. The Master looked around and he said, I don't see anyone, there is no one. The intellect goes on missing, the inquirer says, then to whom you are teaching? If there is no one, then to whom you are teaching? And the Master says, I have got no tongue, so how I can teach? He goes on giving hints to become alert, to look, but the inquirer is engulfed in his own mind. The Master goes on hitting, hammering on his head. He is talking nonsense just to bring him out of his mind. And if you were there, you would have been convinced by the inquirer, not by the Master. The inquirer would have appeared exactly right. This Master seems to be mad, absurd. He is talking and he says, there is no tongue, so how can I talk? He is saying, there is no body to me. How can I move? How can I talk? He is saying, look at me. I am without form. Look at me. I am not embodied. The body appears to you, but I am not that. So how I can talk? mind goes on missing. This is the misery of the mind. You push, it again gathers itself. You hit for a moment. There is a shaking and trembling, and again it is established. Have you seen a Japanese doll? They call it Daruma doll. You throw it in whatsoever way, topsy way, head upside down, whatsoever you do, the doll sits in a Buddha posture. The bottom part is so heavy, you cannot do anything. Throw it in any way. The doll sits again in a Buddha posture. The name Daruma comes from Bodhidharma. In Japan, Bodhidharma's name is Daruma. And Daruma used to say, this Bodhidharma used to say that your mind is just like this doll. He used to have a doll. He will throw it, kick it, whatsoever you do, you cannot disturb the doll. It again, the bottom part is so heavy. You throw it upside down, it will be right side up. This master goes on pushing, a little shaking, and the doll sits again, misses the point. Finally, desperate, the inquirer says, I don't follow. I don't understand. And the ultimate hit, and the master says, I don't understand myself. I go on teaching you, knowing well there is nothing to be taught. That's why I can go on infinitely. If there is something to be taught, I would have finished already. Buddhas can go on and on and on, because there is nothing to be taught. It is an endless story. It never concludes. So I can go on and on. I will never be finished. You may be finished before my story ends, because there is no end to it. Somebody was asking me, you go on talking every day. I said, because there is nothing to be talked. Someday you will suddenly feel it, that I am not talking, that I am not teaching. You have realized. There is nothing to be taught, because there is no truth. What discipline I am giving to you? None. Because a disciplined mind is again a mind even more stubborn, more adamant. A disciplined mind is more stupid. Go and see to the disciplined monks all over the world, Christian, Hindu, Jain. Whenever you see a man who is absolutely disciplined, you will find a stupid mind behind it. The flowing has stopped. And he is so much concerned with finding something that he is ready to whatsoever you say for him to do. If you say stand on your head for hours, he is ready to stand on his head. It is because of desire. If God can be achieved only through standing on your head for hours, he is ready. But he must achieve. I am not giving you any achieving, any desiring. There is nowhere to reach and nothing to achieve. If you realize this, you have achieved this very moment. this very moment you are perfect. Nothing is to be done. Nothing is to be changed. This very moment you are absolute Brahma.